Hello everyone, welcome back. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to answer a question that I've seen in the comment section often. And the question is, why is Donald Trump imposing tariffs on the whole world? So I'm going to explain it to you today in a very easy to understand way. Now, some of the reasons you'll hear the most are these. The United States is imposing taxes on imports of products from all over the world to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And of course, that's ridiculous because it'll do the exact opposite. And the easiest way to explain that is like this. The reason that manufacturing has left the United States is because it can be done more profitably somewhere else. Nobody forced multinational US companies to leave the United States and start manufacturing in China. They did it because they can make more money by doing it there. So why would they come back? And why would tariffs make them come back? Well, tariffs won't do that. What tariffs will do is make everything that is imported into the United States, all the materials that manufacturers would need to use to manufacture in the United States, more expensive. And that will make the products that are manufactured in the United States less competitive worldwide. The United States might bring back some manufacturing to service its local market, but they're not going to be able to outcompete China and India and manufacture things cheaper here if all the materials necessary to do that manufacturing are taxed with these tariffs. So that's not the reason. Another reason that you hear often is that countries around the world have been ripping the United States off, and it's time to get payback. It's time to make them pay. And I don't have to spend much time on this one because it's just ridiculous, because other countries do not pay the tariffs. A tariff is an import tax paid by US companies that import materials and products from other countries. So not only is that not a reason, it's just false. Here's another reason you hear. Well, the United States is running a trade deficit. The United States buys more things from other countries than those countries buy from the US. So if we impose tariffs on imports of their materials, that'll balance everything out. Well, that's a dumb reason as well. The reason that the US is running a big trade deficit is because the United States is rich, they have the richest consumers, and they demand to buy more. If the United States wants to sell more to other countries, it would be more advantageous to lift poor countries up from poverty by trading with them so they can afford to buy more things. And it would make more sense to try and make US manufactured products more competitive on the world market so that they could sell more to other countries. So that's not the reason. Another reason you hear a lot is this is the way the United States is going to apply leverage on other countries. Leverage on their allies and their enemies so that they do what the United States wants, like they're doing with Russia. Convincing Russia to stop the war in Ukraine right away. That's not a very good example. Just a second there. Let me find another one. Oh yeah, if they impose tariffs on Canada, they won't know what to do, and they'll bow down to US domination and become the 51st state. Oh, wait a minute. That one's not going very well either. The Canadians are boycotting everything from the US. And they hate Trump now. Let me find another example. That's right. If they impose 50% tariffs on India, then India will stop buying oil from Russia. That's right. They'll apply leverage on India. Wait a minute. President Modi basically told Trump to go fuck himself. And now Indians are thinking of boycotting US goods as well. So that strategy is not going to work. That's not really a good strategy either. So why are they doing it? And I'm going to explain why here in an easy to understand example. And basically, I just want you to think about Donald Trump for a minute. What is he good at? Let me rephrase that. Not what is he good at. What has he been doing for his whole life? What does he try to do all the time? What does he love to do other than golf? He loves to try and make money. He's been trying to make money his whole life. Even as president, he sells shoes, he sells Bibles, he sells perfume. Well, either he or his wife does that. He sells non-fungible tokens, if you even know what those are. He sells hats and t-shirts. He's always selling something because he wants to make money. And he has a market of people that he can sell things to, people that will willingly buy his stuff. Now, what type of person buys the products that Donald Trump sells? Well, his most passionate supporters, the people that really support him, buy his products. They buy his hats, they buy his gold shoes, they would buy a digital picture of Donald Trump appearing as an astronaut or a cowboy. I don't know why they buy this stuff, but they buy it. Those are his supporters, and it may shock you that they number in the tens of millions. I'd guess somewhere around 40 million of them. And most of them I would describe as not like Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg. They're not that type of person. They're more less rich, yet they are the ones that are more likely to buy his stuff. And also, they are the most likely to buy his BS. They are the ones he's talking to when he says, we're going to make China pay. We're going to put tariffs on China because they've been ripping us off too long, and we're going to make them pay. And he will immediately have the support of 40 million people, and 40 million people will believe that China will pay the tariffs. They've been completely tricked. They don't know how tariffs really work. They don't really understand what a tariff is. A tariff is a tax. It's a tax on an import. But they don't understand this because Donald Trump is using the word tariff instead of tax. And they're very different words. I know they both begin with the letter T. They both have an A as the second letter, and the third letter in the word tax is an X, but the third letter in the word tariff is an R, followed by an I and an F. Most of them don't know that there's two Fs, but that's enough to confuse them and trick them into believing that China will pay the tax. And right about now in the video, you're saying, well, come on, explain why he's doing it then. You've been talking here. Explain why he's doing it. I have fun doing this, okay? Give me a second. This is why he's doing it. To try and make money. He's the president now. And he's in this position where he can just, through the stroke of a pen, start collecting money. And he loves making money, so he's going to do that. So who is he going to take this money from? Now, how well would it work if he got Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and another couple of dozen billionaires, and he said to them, I want you to buy more of my shoes, and I want you to buy some of those pictures of me on the lunar lander. How willing do you think those types would be in giving Donald Trump money? Last year, you decided it would be a good idea to take a holiday with your family and go spend some time on the beach, and you thought, well, you want to be comfortable, and you want to keep the sun off you so you don't burn. So you went to Costco, and you saw they had a display exactly what you wanted. A Tommy Bahama chair and umbrella set. And you bought 4 of those for your family so you could enjoy your time at the beach. And they were a good price. They were $25 for the set. You bought 4 of them. $100 and you were ready to go. While you were at the beach and you were setting these up, you noticed the tag on the back of the chair and you unrolled it and it said, Made in China. Made in China? It was a good deal. You enjoyed your week at the beach and you have no regrets. So how did that work? Well, Costco, a U.S. corporation, imported those chairs and umbrellas from a company in China that manufactures them. And maybe they paid that company $20 for a chair and umbrella set. Now, I'm making these numbers up to prove a point. Don't quote me on the numbers. So they paid that Chinese company $20 for the chair and umbrella set. They imported it from China into the United States. They put them on their shelves and they sold it to you for $25. Costco made $5 and you had a great weekend at the beach. Now let's do that again and let's factor in a 25% tariff on Chinese imports. It's summer again and Costco wants to sell a whole bunch more of these Tommy Bahama chair and umbrella sets. So they call their supplier in China and they want to put in another order. And the Chinese supplier says, yeah, I can supply you 10 million of those like I did last year. They're still $20, same price as last year. And Costco says, great, let's put the order in. And they pay the Chinese company $20 for the chair and umbrella set. And that product gets put on a ship and it crosses the Pacific Ocean and lands in the port in Los Angeles. And when it's getting ready to be unloaded off the ship, there's a customs agent at the port there that reads the paperwork for that import and it says, Product Origin China. This product is the subject of a 25% tax. And they say to Costco, the importer, you're going to have to pay this 25% tax to take possession of this product. 25% of $20 is $5. So Costco pays the tax. Donald Trump collects the tax and says, we're making a fortune collecting all these tariffs. Costco brings them into their store and they know that people are going to be ready to go to the beach and they're going to want to buy these chairs and umbrella sets. But they had to pay $20 now plus a 5% tax. They had to pay $25 for them. And they used to sell them for $25 last year. If they sell them for $25 this year, they won't make any money. So what do? Well, there's a few things they could do, but one of them is they definitely don't want to lose money. They want to keep making a profit. Hopefully they want to make as much or more of a profit this year than they did last year. But They're going to have to raise the price. If they want to make the same amount of profit as last year, $5 profit on each chair umbrella set, they're going to have to raise the price to $30. People may not want to pay $30 because it was $25 last year. Maybe they can raise the price to $27, $28. Okay, they'll raise the price to $28, which means they're only going to make $3 profit. They're going to have to save some money then. They're going to have to cut back on some other things and try and save some money in the way they run their corporation. What's their biggest expense? Let's have a look at, labor costs. Those are the biggest expense. I know what we'll do. We just won't give those guys a raise this year. If we do, we'll give them a really tiny raise. We'll say that our profits are being squeezed, and due to factors beyond our control and market uncertainty, we can't really give them a very good raise this year. Now, who do you think works at Costco? Jeff Bezos? Mark Zuckerberg? I would propose to guess that it would be much more likely that someone of the type that may wear one of those funny red hats works at Costco rather than being the CEO of a multinational company. Now, when you go into the Costco this year to buy your Tommy Bahama chair and umbrella set, you notice that it's not $25 anymore. It's $28. $28? It used to be $25? What's going on here? I know what it is. It must be those Chinese, just like Donald Trump says. They're trying to rip us off. I hope he increases tariffs on them, and you reluctantly buy them. You're upset because inflation is out of control. So you only buy 3 of them instead of 4 of them. You buy one for your wife and one for each of your kids, and you're going to sit on the sand on a blanket just to make a point. Now, what group of people is most likely to pay the increased price for this chair and umbrella set? Let me guess here. Will it be Jeff Bezos? No. If he wants to go to the beach, he'll just rent out all of Venice for a week. No, it's going to be that same group of people, the same regular schmoes, the middle and lower class Americans, many of them, on the order of 40 million of them, that still think because tariff is spelt with an R and one F, they don't know that there's 2 Fs instead of an X, means that China's paying for it. And what I've described for you just now will play out in millions and millions of different products throughout the United States economy, and will go down in history as the largest transfer of wealth, lower and middle class Americans, many of them willingly and unknowingly will pay a little bit more for everything they buy, and they'll make a little bit less while they work, and each of them will contribute a little bit, but all of them together will pay the cost of these import taxes. And multinational corporations and the top companies in the United States, like Costco, will restructure in an effort to lower their costs. They'll be more reluctant to give their employees raises, and they'll increase prices, and at the end of the day, they will walk away just as profitable. It went out of the pockets of the majority of Americans, the middle and lower class consumers. They paid for all of it. The corporations that imported materials and products from other countries will pay the tax. They'll give this tax to Donald Trump and the US government. These same corporations will raise their prices and pay their workers less to suck back all of that cost. And then the US government, with the increased revenue that they're taking in, will be able to offer these rich people, the top 10% that control those industries, they'll be able to offer them an income tax cut. So the people at the bottom of the pyramid, especially those that are easily tricked, will be wearing their Donald Trump gold shoes, carrying their Donald Trump Bible, and wearing the Donald Trump funny red hat. They'll be funding all this, paying for all this, and the richest people in the United States that helped Donald Trump get elected, that were there in the first row during the inauguration, they'll walk away with a nice tax cut. And if any of Donald Trump's followers start to get a little bit upset and start wondering what's going on, he'll throw out something like, well, we're going to increase tariffs and we're going to make so much money that the goal is to eliminate taxes. We won't have to pay income tax anymore, like we did in the 1800s. That's right, I'm going to keep raising these tariffs, and once we get this thing sorted out, you won't have to pay any more taxes. And there will be about 40 million Americans that will believe that. And that was actually another one of the reasons that I read a lot, that the people try and justify these tariffs. Well, the U.S. is just trying to find a new source of revenue so that we can eliminate income tax. That's right. You keep paying. Eventually, you won't have to pay income tax. Pay now, take possession later. I laugh because if it wasn't so pathetic, it would be hilarious. That's the simple reason why Donald Trump and the US government is imposing tariffs on all imports from all over the world. Because he likes to make money, and he's collecting all this money, and he's happy. He likes to do it. And he's going to decide who gets that money. And he's targeting the same group of people, those people that are willing to buy anything he wants to sell, that he's convinced that tariffs are a good idea. That's his mark. Those are the people that will be paying. And they don't even know it. So that's the explanation. It's not rocket science. It's not profound. It's not four-dimensional chess. It's just a guy doing what he's done his whole life, what he's tried to do his whole life. Make money. That's what he's doing. And if you're American and you're watching this, maybe you've learned something. The sad part now is that this is really bad for the economy. The economy will probably slow down relative to what it would have done without the tariffs, but that's the topic for another video. I hope you enjoyed my little story and my explanation. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Leave some comments in the comments section. And if you enjoy my content and want to support this channel monthly, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you all on the next one.